Good morning on this Wednesday. You know what that music means? Time for the morning mix. We got some fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Music, little food.
Yep.
Of course, everyone's still talking about the Grammys. There was a lot of fun moments that night. Award shows have seen lower and lower viewerships in recent years, but with all the star power and popular artists performing at this year's Grammys, how could you not tune in, right? Well, Sunday's Grammy Award show actually garnered 12.4 million viewers on CBS. That's actually a 30% increase from last year. That's a big difference.
Nice job.
Beyonce broke a major record. Album of the Year went to Harry Styles. And we celebrated 50 years of hip hop with a performance from Busta Rhymes, Method Man, Queen Latifah, Missy Elliott, Run DMC, Salt and Pepper. That was the best performance of the night. And having Bad Bunny perform, opening up the show, was probably one of the best calls I think the Grammy could have made. So the show also reached its largest live streaming audience in history. That was up 33% from last year. So it's a very good point. Whoever you have performing, who's up for nominations, if this is what everyone's listening to, that's going to garner a lot of attention.
And it hits so many demographics.
That's
like the Grammys, from one, I think it was an overall good experience.
Variety.
All musical backgrounds. There was a variety. I think everyone who loves music enjoyed that show.
And also what I really loved seeing was all those relationships between the different artists and seeing them stand up for each other. You even saw Taylor Swift standing the entire time during Harry Styles' acceptance speech, which we all know what's happened with them. And there was just all this camaraderie that was just incredible to see, and what I think a lot of people need to just be seeing in general in society. So that was a great example of a good direction for us to go in.
Perfectly said, literally, because like you said, it literally attracted audiences from all different demographics, all different genres of music. It was one of my favorites.
It was a good show,
So let's do that again next year.
Yes.
Grammys, listen, again next year. It was a good one. All right, well, come next year, CBS's The Late Late Show with James Corden will be done. That's it. Corden announced he would be stepping down as host, but now a replacement show will take effect once he's done. So it's actually a reboot, if you remember, of a comedic game show at midnight. Will air in place of The Late Late Show. That's what the Hollywood Reporter is saying. Now, Stephen Colbert, host of The Late Show for CBS, is on board as an executive producer. At Midnight ran for 600 episodes on Comedy Central before retiring in 2017. Comedian Chris Hardwick actually hosted the original show and asked internet-themed questions to 3 comedian guests. So he's not expected to have direct involvement with the reboot, but I thought he did a pretty good job with the original. I think this is great. You know, comedy, people are so funny, and when you just throw impromptu questions at them with comedians, you just get really fun answers. I think it's a great idea to bring that back.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about it, just because when you think about, I mean, James Corden with that show, and you think about whether he was competing with Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, that is a show that I think a lot of people watched. I watched that a lot. And I think just being able to bring in guests, whether it was actors, actresses, celebrities, musicians, I watched that show because of that, and also because of James Corden. So I'm bummed by this.
Oh, I'm just impressed you guys can all stay up that late.
But it could be a different perspective,
YouTube.
bringing that game show into it. I think that could be a little more,
and it was
just a
his
different
choice
take.
to leave. So he made that decision. I think we're all going to miss his show, but what do? You got to find something that's as compelling and interesting.
True.
And Stephen will still have those late night guests. So I think it's good. All right, when you come up with a recipe, doesn't it feel good knowing that you made something from scratch? Well, and doesn't it feel horrible when someone tries to finagle it into something else? This is so true. The HuffPost did some digging and found one of the rudest dining habits ever is invidious comparison eating, or ICE, if you will. It basically means recipe one-upping. So ICE can happen at a multitude of group meal settings, but it's particularly offensive when it happens in front of a home cook. So some people online are calling it Karen behavior and one of the most passive-aggressive things you can do. Does this bother you? I know for me, this drives me nuts, especially when we have certain relatives over for Thanksgiving.
Thing to do.
You took the words out of my mouth. Yes, it is.
That's like a total mother-in-law, though, or sister-in-law. Yeah.
Well, think about it. You spend all this time in the kitchen making this delicious
working so
recipe,
hard.
working so hard. You put love into it. You put like your mix on it, and then someone says, maybe you should have used ricotta instead of mascarpone or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like
Really?
That is annoying.
That is annoying.
I don't like to cook. So for me, it's, well.
So we should have you
You
over.
can,
Yeah, because you'll
I'll
just
be like,
go with
this is
it.
great. Yeah, this is great. I'm
We
not a
definitely
cook.
have
Everything
some
will be
certain
great.
family members in our family. I'm not going to say names, but
Call them out.
We
I'm
will
kidding.
work. So, I mean, they don't even care to watch us, so I guess it doesn't matter. So, just gonna say that. But they'll literally be like, "You don't know how to do that. You don't know how to do."
that's
And
annoying.
it makes me so angry.
It's like, what have you done?
It's offensive.
Yes, it's very
So
offensive.
don't do that. Say thank you.
Sure,
Good
my
meal.
mom's cheering me on right now. She's
Say
like, "Thank you."
and move on, like my producers are telling me now.